In a world overflowing with distractions, information, and endless noise, how often do you find yourself feeling mentally cluttered, unable to focus, or uncertain of your next step? We live in an age where thinking clearly is not just an asset, it's a superpower. Every day we are bombarded with notifications, conflicting viewpoints, and a whirlwind of responsibilities, making it difficult to distinguish between what matters and what is mere noise. But what if you could cut through that noise? What if you could develop a mindset so clear, so focused, that no external chaos could shake your inner peace? In this video, we are going to dive deep into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism and uncover 6 transformative lessons that will teach you how to think with absolute clarity. By the end of this video, you won't just have theoretical knowledge, you'll have practical tools to declutter your mind, sharpen your focus, and cultivate a stronger, more resilient way of thinking. If you're tired of feeling overwhelmed or lost in your thoughts, this video is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what you will learn here could be the key to unlocking a new way of living, a life where distractions no longer control you, where mental clarity becomes your default, and where you find the peace you've been seeking. Do you accept the challenge? Let's begin this journey to mastering the art of thinking clearly. 1. Cultivate a growth mindset. Have you ever felt stuck? Perhaps you've faced situations where you think, "This is just the way things are," or "I'm not capable of more." These thoughts may feel familiar because they stem from what is known as a fixed mindset. In contrast, a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities and intelligence can improve with effort, allows you to approach life with curiosity and resilience. And what better philosophy to guide us in this endeavor than Stoicism? The Stoics believed in continuous learning and self-improvement, a perspective deeply aligned with a growth mindset. As Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This powerful quote echoes through the ages as a reminder that life itself is a learning process. But what does this really mean for you? How often do you see your mistakes as lessons? Are you willing to embrace discomfort in order to grow? Let's take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you truly challenged yourself to learn something new, even if it was difficult or uncomfortable? A growth mindset helps us see that no failure is final, no challenge insurmountable. It reminds us that we are works in progress and that every setback is merely an opportunity in disguise. Imagine this. You encounter a setback, a failure at work, a personal disappointment. With a fixed mindset, you might say to yourself, "I'm just not cut out for this," and give up. But with a growth mindset, you'll ask, "What can I learn from this?" You'll see the situation as temporary and, more importantly, as something you can overcome with effort and reflection. This is the power of clear thinking through the lens of Stoicism. Seneca's wisdom further invites us to understand that growth requires patience and persistence. He teaches us that life is not a sprint, but a marathon of continuous improvement. But are you willing to commit to this journey? To cultivate a growth mindset means accepting that the road will be challenging, filled with obstacles that will test your resilience. Ask yourself, are you prepared to meet these challenges head-on, to embrace the discomfort that comes with growth? Consider this. When you view the world through the lens of a fixed mindset, every obstacle feels like a barrier to success. But with a growth mindset, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. How would your life change if you shifted your mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility? By embracing this Stoic principle, you'll begin to see your struggles in a new light. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" you'll start asking, "What can I learn from this?" To cultivate a growth mindset, the Stoics would advise you to practice self-reflection regularly. Take time to examine your thoughts and behaviors. Are they helping you grow, or are they keeping you stuck? What beliefs are you holding on to that no longer serve you? By reflecting on these questions, you'll begin to break free from the constraints of a fixed mindset. It's important to remember that a growth mindset isn't just about intellectual growth, it's also about emotional resilience. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. This aligns perfectly with the idea of a growth mindset, which sees challenges as opportunities to build emotional strength. Imagine the clarity you'll experience when you no longer fear failure, but welcome it as a teacher. Finally, let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture. The Stoics understood that life is full of uncertainties, and it is through our ability to learn and adapt that we find peace amidst the chaos. What are the areas of your life where you feel most stuck right now? Could it be that adopting a growth mindset might shift your perspective, allowing you to see these challenges as opportunities for growth? In conclusion, cultivating a growth mindset is a fundamental Stoic practice that leads to clearer thinking and a more fulfilling life. By viewing every challenge as a chance to grow, you not only sharpen your mind, but also strengthen your spirit. This is the first step on our journey to thinking clearly. But remember, this is only the beginning. The next step will take us even deeper into the world of Stoicism, where we'll explore how questioning our assumptions can free us from mental traps and open the door to a whole new way of thinking. 2. Question your assumptions. How often do you stop to ask yourself, is this really true? Most of us navigate life with a set of assumptions, some inherited, some learned, and some shaped by our past experiences. But have you ever considered that these assumptions might be limiting you, that they may cloud your thinking and prevent you from seeing the world as it truly is? Stoicism teaches us that one of the greatest barriers to clear thinking is the unexamined belief. Seneca, one of the most profound Stoic philosophers, once observed, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How often do you find yourself overwhelmed by fears and anxieties that have no basis in fact, but are instead born from the stories you tell yourself? Take a moment to reflect on your current life situation. What assumptions are you holding on to right now that might not serve you? Are you convinced that success is beyond your reach because of past failures? Do you assume that certain people cannot be trusted simply because of a bad experience you had with someone else? Do you believe that life is inherently difficult and therefore you should expect nothing but hardship? These assumptions, often based on past trauma, fear, or societal conditioning, have a way of clouding our judgment. They act like invisible chains, keeping us bound to a limited way of thinking. But what if you could free yourself from these chains? What if you could begin to see the world with fresh eyes, questioning everything you've been told, everything you've assumed, and everything that holds you back from clear, rational thought? The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, understood that the path to wisdom begins with questioning. Marcus himself once noted, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This is a profound reminder that our understanding of the world is often shaped by perceptions that may not be entirely accurate. Have you ever paused to question whether what you perceive as truth is merely a perspective? And if it is just a perspective, how might changing it alter your life for the better? Let's bring this back to your everyday life. Think about the assumptions you carry with you to work, in your relationships, or even in your self-image. Are they serving you, or are they limiting your potential? Consider this. If you could challenge just one assumption today, what would it be? What would happen if you chose to see the situation differently? The practice of questioning your assumptions is a powerful tool in the pursuit of clear thinking. When you start to regularly question your beliefs, you create room for growth and clarity. Imagine how freeing it would be to let go of beliefs that are no longer useful to you. You might begin to realize that many of the obstacles you face are self-imposed. Think about it. How much of your life is being controlled by ideas that you've never questioned? But here's the key. Questioning your assumptions doesn't mean doubting everything. It's not about becoming skeptical of every belief or fact. It's about being open-minded and curious. It's about cultivating a sense of intellectual humility. the understanding that you don't have all the answers, and that's okay. In fact, the recognition that you don't know everything is the first step toward true wisdom. Seneca reminds us, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." How true is this in your own life? How many times have you worried about something that never came to pass? How many sleepless nights have you spent agonizing over outcomes that never materialized? When you allow your imagination to run unchecked, without questioning the assumptions behind your fears, you end up suffering needlessly. By questioning these assumptions, you strip away the mental fog and begin to see things as they are, not as you fear them to be. This practice is especially important in times of uncertainty. When the world feels chaotic and your mind is filled with anxious thoughts, questioning the validity of those thoughts can bring you back to a place of calm and clarity. Now, let me ask you, what is one assumption you can challenge today? How might questioning this assumption lead to greater peace, clarity, and understanding in your life? I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. By doing so, you not only reflect on your own journey, but also contribute to a larger conversation, one where we can all learn from each other's insights. Your reflections may inspire someone else to question their own beliefs and find greater clarity. When we cultivate the habit of questioning our assumptions, we free ourselves from mental traps that distort our thinking, and as we clear away the fog of unexamined beliefs, we create space for more rational, clear, and focused thought. This practice is essential to the Stoic path, and it brings us closer to the next lesson on our journey, focusing on what we can control. 3. Focusing on what we can control. Do you often find yourself worrying about things beyond your control? How many times have you lost sleep over events or people that you couldn't influence? This habit of focusing on external circumstances is one of the greatest obstacles to clear thinking. But Stoicism Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, put it best. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. This Stoic principle teaches us that while the world may be unpredictable and often chaotic, we always retain control over our actions, our thoughts, and our attitudes. Consider this for a moment. How much energy do you waste worrying about things outside your influence? Perhaps you've been stressing over world events, the actions of others, or even past mistakes that cannot be undone. What if you could redirect all of that mental energy to the things that truly matter? The things you have control over? How much clearer would your thinking be? How much more peace would you experience in your daily life? In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with information, news cycles, social media, and the opinions of others. It's easy to get caught up in this whirlwind and lose sight of what's important. But, as the Stoics remind us, most of this is simply noise. What really matters is how we choose to respond. We may not be able to control the outcome of a situation, but we can always control our reaction. Think about a recent situation that caused you stress. Maybe it was a disagreement with a friend, a challenge at work, or something completely out of your hands like a global event. Now ask yourself, was your stress caused by the event itself or by your reaction to it? More often than not, it's our response, our thoughts about the situation, that create the most distress. Stoicism encourages us to take a step back and examine what is truly within our control. Your thoughts, your actions, your decisions, these are the areas where you hold real power. Imagine how much mental clarity you would gain if you stopped worrying about things you cannot change and instead focused your energy on what you can influence. Now that we've explored 3 powerful Stoic lessons, I encourage you to commit to watching the rest of this video. The insights that follow will build on what we've already discussed, providing you with even more tools to sharpen your thinking and navigate life with greater clarity. So, if you're truly committed to mastering the art of clear thinking, stay with me until the end. The best is yet to come. In the next section, we will dive into a topic that is both deeply practical and transformative: seeking simplicity. 4. Seek simplicity. In a world overflowing with information, choices, and complexity, simplicity is a breath of fresh air. But simplicity is not about having less. It's about focusing on what truly matters. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This lesson is crucial for anyone seeking clarity of mind, and Stoicism offers profound insights on how to achieve this simplicity. Think for a moment about your daily life. How many times have you felt overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks, options, or distractions pulling you in different directions? How often do you find yourself trying to juggle multiple responsibilities, only to end up feeling scattered and unfocused? The modern world seems designed to complicate our lives. But what if you could strip away the unnecessary and focus only on what truly matters? Stoicism teaches us that simplicity is a path to clarity. When we remove the excess, whether it's physical clutter, mental distractions, or emotional baggage, we create space for clear thought and purposeful action. But how do we practice this in our daily lives? Start by asking yourself this: what are the things in your life that matter most? What are the distractions that are pulling you away from those things? For many of us, our time is consumed by obligations that don't serve our higher purpose, by material possessions that bring no lasting joy, or by thoughts and worries that only add noise to our minds. By consciously choosing simplicity, we reclaim our time, energy, and focus. One powerful way to seek simplicity is through decluttering, not just your physical space, but also your mental and emotional environment. Take a look at your living space. Are there items that no longer serve you, that only add to the chaos? By letting go of the unnecessary, you're making room for what truly matters. But this doesn't stop at the physical level. How often do you find your mind cluttered with worries or thoughts about things beyond your control? These mental distractions take up valuable space in your mind, crowding out the clarity that could otherwise be there. Simplicity also applies to how we make decisions. In today's world, we are often overwhelmed by options: what career path to follow, what project to prioritize, or even what to eat for dinner. This abundance of choice can lead to decision fatigue, where we become paralyzed by the sheer number of possibilities. Stoicism encourages us to simplify our choices by focusing on what aligns with our core values and letting go of the rest. Consider this: if you had to choose only one or two priorities in your life right now, what would they be? What are the things that you truly value? By narrowing your focus to these essential priorities, you can eliminate the distractions that pull you away from what's important. Remember, simplicity isn't about deprivation, it's about clarity. It's about making room for what brings you peace, joy, and purpose. Simplicity also invites us to streamline our commitments. How many times have you found yourself overcommitted, saying yes to things that you later regret? Each time you agree to something that doesn't serve your higher purpose, you add complexity to your life. But when you practice saying no to what's unnecessary, you gain the freedom to say yes to what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius knew this well, and his simple yet profound approach to life allowed him to rule an empire while maintaining inner peace. As you seek simplicity, it's important to also simplify your goals. In today's world, we often feel the pressure to achieve more, do more, and be more. But this constant striving can cloud our thinking and leave us feeling exhausted. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself, what is the one thing you can focus on that will bring the most value to your life? By simplifying your goals, you'll find that clarity naturally follows. At the end of the day, simplicity is a state of mind. It's about cutting through the clutter, both physical and mental, and focusing on what truly matters. When you embrace simplicity, you'll find that life becomes less chaotic and your mind becomes clearer. This newfound clarity allows you to make better decisions, act with purpose, and live with greater peace. But simplicity alone is not enough. The next lesson, perhaps one of the most powerful in Stoicism, takes this a step further. It's about finding inner stillness, a quiet place within yourself where clarity thrives. Let's explore how embracing stillness can transform your mind and your life. 5. Embrace the power of stillness. In our constantly buzzing, fast-paced world, stillness might seem like a luxury. How can we possibly be still when there's always something demanding our attention? Our phones, our emails, our never-ending to-do lists? But stillness is not a luxury. It is a necessity for anyone who wishes to think clearly and live purposefully. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." What is stillness, and why is it so essential to Stoicism? Stillness is the deliberate practice of pausing, of stepping away from the chaos of daily life and tuning into the quiet within. It's not about inaction, it's about finding space in your mind to reflect, to breathe, and to listen to your own thoughts. In this stillness, clarity emerges. Think about your own life for a moment. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be truly still? No phone in hand, no distractions, just you sitting with your thoughts. If it's been a while, you're not alone. Most of us are constantly moving from one task to the next, barely taking a moment to pause. But this relentless pace comes at a cost. Without stillness, our minds become cluttered with noise, and we lose the ability to think clearly. Stoicism teaches us that stillness is where we find our deepest insights. It's in these moments of quiet that we can step back from the noise of the world and gain perspective. Have you ever noticed that some of your best ideas come when you're away from distractions, while taking a walk, sitting quietly, or simply reflecting? This is the power of stillness at work. Marcus Aurelius practiced stillness even in the midst of ruling an empire. Despite the pressures of leading Rome, he made time for quiet reflection, for journaling, and for contemplation. This wasn't just a break from his responsibilities, it was an essential part of his ability to lead with wisdom and clarity. What can we learn from this? If someone with the immense responsibilities of an emperor could make time for stillness, what's stopping you? The beauty of stillness is that it doesn't require hours of meditation or a secluded retreat. You can find moments of stillness anywhere, in the early morning before the world wakes up, in the quiet of your car before a meeting, or even in the few minutes before bed. The key is to be intentional about it. Are you willing to carve out time for stillness in your daily life? What would happen if you made this a regular practice? Stillness isn't about escaping from reality. It's about grounding yourself in it. When you practice stillness, you give yourself the opportunity to process your thoughts and emotions, to separate the important from the trivial, and to approach life with a clear, focused mind. How many times have you rushed into a decision only to later regret it? How many times have you been overwhelmed by emotions simply because you didn't take the time to pause and reflect? In Stoicism, stillness is seen as a way to connect with your inner self, to align your actions with your values, and to gain clarity about what truly matters. It is in these moments of quiet that you can remind yourself of the principles you live by and the goals you seek to achieve. But beyond that, stillness allows you to approach life's challenges with a calm and steady mind. In moments of stillness, we often find solutions that eluded us in the chaos. Imagine how much more focused and productive you could be if you incorporated moments of stillness into your day. Instead of reacting to life's demands, you could respond with intention and clarity. Instead of being swept away by distractions, you could remain grounded in your purpose. As you embrace the power of stillness, remember that this is not just about finding peace. It's about creating the space for clear, rational thought. Stillness gives us the mental clarity we need to make better decisions, to lead with wisdom, and to navigate the complexities of life with grace. Now that we've explored the profound impact of simplicity and stillness on clear thinking, it's time to move to the next lesson. A lesson that challenges how we listen, both to ourselves and to others. The art of active listening. 6. Practice active listening. In today's world, listening has become something of a lost art. We live in an age where everyone is eager to speak, but few are willing to truly listen. How often do you find yourself in conversation, only half paying attention while mentally preparing your response? Or perhaps your mind wanders, distracted by your phone or other thoughts. Yet, one of the most powerful tools for clear thinking is active listening, a practice deeply rooted in Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This wisdom reminds us that when we engage with others, we're not simply hearing words, we're encountering their unique perspective on the world. But how often do we pause to really understand what someone is saying beyond the surface of their words? How often do we listen with the intent to understand rather than to respond? Active listening is about being fully present, giving your undivided attention to the speaker. It's not just about hearing their words, but also about understanding the emotions, motivations, and intentions behind them. This practice allows you to see beyond your own assumptions and judgments, which often cloud your thinking. In many ways, active listening is the gateway to greater empathy and deeper understanding, both of which are essential for clear thought. Consider this. How many misunderstandings in your life have arisen because you didn't truly listen to someone? How often have conflicts escalated because you were more focused on defending your position than on understanding the other person's point of view? Stoicism teaches us to approach conversations with humility, recognizing that we don't hold all the answers and that we can learn something from everyone we encounter. When we practice active listening, we create the opportunity for growth and clarity, both for ourselves and for others. One of the keys to active listening is to silence the inner dialogue that constantly runs through our minds. When you're listening to someone, are you really listening, or are you thinking about what you'll say next? Are you filtering their words through your own biases and assumptions? By practicing Stoicism, we learn to quiet this inner chatter, allowing us to be fully present in the moment. This act of presence not only strengthens relationships, but also opens the door to deeper insights and clearer thinking. Active listening also strengthens our ability to communicate more effectively. When you truly listen to someone, you gain a better understanding of their perspective, which allows you to respond in a more thoughtful and meaningful way. How would your conversations change if you approached each one with the intent to understand rather than to be understood? Imagine how much clearer your thinking would become if you took the time to fully digest what others were saying before jumping to conclusions. The Stoics understood that listening is not just about gathering information, it's about cultivating wisdom. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet profound statement underscores the importance of listening as a path to greater understanding. By listening more and speaking less, we create space for clearer thought and deeper reflection. Let me ask you this. The next time you're in a conversation, can you challenge yourself to practice active listening? Can you silence your inner dialogue and focus entirely on the person speaking? By doing so, you may discover new insights, not only about them, but also about yourself. We've now explored 6 timeless Stoic lessons that offer a powerful path to thinking clearly. From cultivating a growth mindset, questioning your assumptions, and seeking simplicity, to embracing stillness, practicing active listening, and focusing on what you can control. Each lesson is a tool that can help you declutter your mind and sharpen your focus in today's chaotic world. But this journey doesn't end here. I invite you to take action today. If any of these lessons resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation together. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could benefit from these Stoic teachings. Your engagement helps grow this community and spreads the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to others who need it. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you find the clarity, peace, and purpose you seek as you continue to practice these Stoic principles in your own life. Stay mindful, stay grounded, and remember, clear thinking is not just a skill, it's a way of life.